More mayonnaise, less typos.
Brand building in general is really hard for anybody.
It's a really strange experience to invent something that never existed before.
Right.
And to have people actually like it.
It's the right place at the right time a little bit, but it's also just a lot of like really hard work.
We talk about Tippy Type like it's our living child, constantly thinking about its needs from every single angle. We're not building this brand for us, we're building it for them.
Hey friends, welcome to Above the Fold podcast. I'm your host, Jess Servion. We're going to be talking about everything in your customer's journey. You're going to learn things about customer experience, brand experience, and marketing secrets that help you drive your brand success. So stay tuned, buckle up, and let's get into the episode.
Welcome back to another episode of Above the Fold with me, Jess, your host. This week, I am in my hometown, Chicago, and I'm so excited to be home and not on the road because I get to interview my two girly pops, Chloe and Sara from Tippy Type.
Hey everyone, I'm Sara, and I am currently the founder of Tippy Type. And I've done many different things in the past. It's not my first business, so I'm learning a lot that I can apply here. I'm kind of an entrepreneur at heart. Prior to this, I was running my own business, being a career coach, so helping other people with their career navigation. And I always knew I wanted to have another product company like I'd had in the past. So I didn't know what it was, and it ended up being Tippy Type, which I'm happy to get into how that happened.
We're getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting in. Okay, go ahead, Chloe.
I'm Chloe. I also kind of copy and paste my bio with hers. This is also not my first business. I have also done many things from teaching dance in China to going on Shark Tank and getting a successful investment with my previous business.
Wow.
But my story of entrepreneurship has landed me here with Tippy Type. So I'm super excited to be here.
Well, I'm so excited to have both of you on because not only just talk about Tippy Type, but just like entrepreneurship, or I made up that word, but entrepreneurship and just brand building, because I think it's so important to talk about it. I think it's like once you get that taste of building something and doing something, it's like you can't get rid of it. And there's multiple businesses. But first, let's talk about Tippy Type. So, Sara, I would love, and for anybody who doesn't know what Tippy Type is, well, actually, Sara, why don't you explain?
So it is a silicone keyboard cover for typing with long nails. And essentially, it just goes over your keyboard, and the little like protrusions are smaller than the size of a normal key so that there's space in between to allow clearance for your nail. I discovered that I love long nails. And sort of when I was in that previous business working for myself, I didn't have to do that much typing. It was more on the phone, coaching, talking to people. And I thought that I might want to return to corporate. I was previously in consulting, and I was in all these job interviews, and I realized, oh, I'm going to have to type a lot more. And this is actually really painful to do. And I don't want to type with my tips, and I don't want to type constantly with very straight fingers. So I wanted to invent something, or like this was the original impetus for the company, was if I get offered a job, how am I going to keep my nails? This was my major dilemma in life.
Priority number one.
And priority number one was like, I love these. Like, let's figure out a way.
Yeah.
That's type of person I am, like problem solver. And I was like, there needs to be like, room around each little key for my nails so I can curve my fingers and I don't have to be straight, which is how I was typing. And if I was ever typing with the tip, then I was getting lifting. And if anyone has experienced that, your nail tech will be like, girl, what are you doing? And it's painful. So that sort of led to the initial idea of the product.
Yeah.
That's
so, well, I mean, like, I love it because it's like problem and solution, of course, but like anybody who's listening and, we're sitting here and we're talking about nails, you don't understand. Nail girls, just like we love a little nail art, the amount of money that we spend for it. It's you want to protect that investment. So I love the invention of the keyboard, absolutely, because even though my laptop is pretty flat, right? My nails wear out so quickly because of it. And then you get to protect the nails
Yeah.
and the amount of money that you're spending every single month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
More manis, less typos.
Yes. Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, before we fully get into it, I'd love to talk about the relationship between both of y'all, right? Like, so go ahead and explain that.
Mm-hmm. So after I came up with the original idea, and I got a prototype and everything, I just was like, cool. And then I sat on it and I really didn't do anything because my previous businesses, I was by myself and I was solo entrepreneuring and I burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I didn't want to do that again. I wanted team. I wanted a really strong team. And so I didn't do anything until I started to compile that. And the first person that I met was James, which is one of our company advisors. And he knew Chloe and was like, he met me and then he was like, I think I know the right person for this. Not only from her skill set, but like we are like twins.
I know. I was just
sisters.
gonna say you guys look like sisters.
Yeah,
Yes.
people ask us.
Little
Yeah, so-
Ariana Cynthia moment.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, so that's how we initially met.
Yeah.
And do you want to say anything else around that?
Yeah, I was ready for this position before I knew it existed. It was like the missing thing in my life. And when James showed me the prototype, I saw it with my previous experience. I know how hard it is to go from an idea to a prototype to an actual product. And I saw the Tippy Type in the case and I was like, wow, this is like ready to go to market right now. I'm like, my only question is it protected? Do we have a patent that we're working on? And the answer was yes. And so I was totally in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you bring up actually a really good point about how, okay, so the product was already here. It was ready to go to market. But even talking about like prototypes and designing, like what was the biggest challenge, like even from that stage of design, manufacturing?
Yeah, I feel like I'm very lucky that I had a pretty smooth ride with the development of this. From the initial idea where like I was like making sketches and I made I took like a regular keyboard cover and I glued little eraser bits to it.
Yeah.
And then I took a photo and I was like sending it to this factory and like, can you make this? And they got it. And they were very I spoke to a few different factories, but the one that I ended up going with was the one that like really understood what I was trying to do and became part of my team, really. So I feel like I really lucked out in finding an amazing supplier and amazing producer.
Yeah.
And we did have to do iterations in terms of like the density of the silicone or the height of the key, the circumference of it.
But very small.
But yeah, tweaks.
Very small tweaks.
Yeah.
It's such a fun product, you guys.
And from the beginning, I
know.
always
I
knew
can't stop fidgeting.
that I wanted a case to go with it because the whole idea and the reason why I wanted a keyboard cover was the initial customer that I had in mind was my former self, who was in management consulting, traveling, going from conference room to conference room. You're always, opening and closing your laptop. You're not going to carry around a keyboard. It needs to be like really easy to transport. And I want to be able to take it to a cafe or an airplane or whatever. And I need a case to like bring it with me places. So that was the second component of the product that was really, top of mind for me to include.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the product is actually the cover and the cute storage case.
Yeah.
Which gives it a more
functionality.
value, more functionality. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so fun to play with. Like I can't stop playing with it.
Yeah. It's a big fidget toy. If people talk about that in the comments section, our greatest teacher is our comments section. We learned so much from it. Including, how we figure out what are our next colors. We just go by what our customers and our community wants.
Oh my God, I love you.
Yeah,
so much.
But they talk about how they're like, I want a can I put this in my mouth? And I'm like, please don't.
No.
But if you want, like, okay, but I don't want to see it.
Yeah, you're like, please do not record that.
But it
I
looks
do not
like
need that UGC. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Intrusive thoughts, but
Yeah,
yeah.
literally. How long has Tippy Type been on the market?
So, I mean,
Almost a year.
yeah, almost a year. We launched like last May, around there. Like I'm like this because, it's like pressing like live on your Shopify site, wah, wah. Like, nothing,
A lot of other work
right?
to do?
And
yeah.
and we were very clear from the beginning that we were not going to do any paid marketing. So we really haven't spent any money on marketing to date.
Yeah.
We have done no ads. So we launched, but then we really just used social media and word of mouth to grow. And I don't know if this would be a good time to, lead into the sort of origin story of what happened after launch. But essentially, we were just like, posting to social until we kind of struck gold, where one of the videos that we made happened to go viral. And within the span of a few weeks, it ended up, getting millions and millions of views. And we sold out the first batch of inventory that we had produced. And we started making more. And that really put us on the map in terms of, we got a lot of media opportunities from that, our first customer base, and then word of mouth. We really grew our newsletter list. Like everything happened from that first viral video. And we're super grateful for that. But like, that's not something that we could have planned or expected.
Absolutely not.
Well,
I mean,
hold
she
on.
has a different version in terms of the product.
When I first saw it, it wasn't a matter of if this was going to go viral. It was just a matter of when. So I wanted to make sure from the very beginning, we both did, that we were set up for success.
Yeah.
We are a small business, and we work really lean, but we were prepared to scale if needed, because what everyone wishes for, which is virality, is actually this really scary tsunami that if you're not prepared, it's overwhelming, and you just have to make the best of it. So yeah.
Well, okay. So after that viral moment, then what was it like for your small business? You sold out, of course, but then like, what do you do at that point?
You take millions of screenshots of comments.
Yeah.
You engage constantly. Like we literally had to be pulled away from our phones by our partners because we were just like,
we were joking that she needs a stroller so we can just like take her for a walk outside while she's answering comments.
Literally, like it was so much, but it was so exciting. We learned so much. Our community kind of grew overnight from there. And when I talk about community, this includes our customers, people that give us their hard-earned money, people that give us their time through our fans, followers, through engagement, and our affiliates as well. So we have a wonderful group of affiliates that are comprised of customers, of nail techs, of people that just like know someone or know a group of people that would like the product. So
I think that's the one thing I really love about Tippy Type, though, like about your affiliates. It's not about like it's not about just like influencers, right? You're not like, okay, I'm going to go get this big influencer and she's gonna, or he is going to, advertise the keyboards, right?
yes.
It's really about those people who are the nail techs. It's more of the word of mouth. It's more of like that community and like the your neighbor even, right?
Yes.
And I think that's so important because virality isn't normal for everybody, right? But I think you're also playing with a level of authenticity and like keeping that community so close and keeping that community so nurtured.
Yes. Yeah. And our community, of course, involves our influencers as well.
Yeah.
But I consider everyone influencers. A customer using Tippy Type at a cafe can be an influencer without even having to talk about it. That was one of our skits, was Sara puts her coffee down. I see her nails. Then I see her typing on her laptop. And I'm like, what is that? How are you typing with those nails? So it's just those little moments. It's all about exposure. So yeah.
And nurturing that exposure.
Absolutely.
Well, so how are you guys managing today? Like, is it still just the two of you? Like, what is your team comprised of?
It's the two of us, and we're both full time. And then we have two other, people who are sort of part time contributing their skills. One of them is my husband, who is our CFO. And then we have an advisor who is really, helpful for everything business, legal, finance related.
Helping us scale to where we want to be.
Having like a mentor is really important. And we've continued to grow really fast. We're sort of at the beginning of like a new growth stage. After, I see it as like we did proof of concept when we launched. I know Chloe said that she was very confident that the product would go viral, but to be honest, it's a really strange experience to invent something that never existed before,
right?
And to have people actually like it. Like it's not like a new thing that had like already exists. Like I'm not inventing like a new mug design. Like it's like a totally new thing. So I was very like not certain, even though I had positive feedback from focus groups before launching, I was not certain what the response was going to be. And so I really wanted to take our time to like genuinely build up proof of concept before taking things into the next realm. And now we definitely have that, and we're ready to scale. And we had a lot of learning from that time period as well. So I'm like confident in our next steps. But yeah, it's very trippy to invent something and have people. I'm still like, y'all really like this?
No,
Like,
she
for real?
does. I have to. I'll send her like screenshots of a DM from a customer or a customer review, and I still have to bring her back down. She's like, wait, people like this. Okay. I'm like, yes, Sarah, people love this.
It's too good.
Like, read our
What?
reviews. They say they can't live without it. It's a game changer. So it's like,
That's awesome. I do want to go back to like validating before product launch though, because you mentioned that you were doing it in focus groups. And what's so interesting is, I'll probably get some slack for this one, but what I see a lot happening in brand building is people actually bypassing the focus groups. And it's not all the time. It's definitely not all the time, but like I definitely see that happening more often. It's like we build like a brand and then just becoming very insular and like just the people around us rather than like going and doing like a focus group or even a taste testing or any of those things like to create like that unbiased environment. So I'd love for you to actually like talk about how you navigated those focus groups. Like how did you even go about deciding that is the route that I want to go and testing it with a focus group?
Yeah. So, I mean, after like I invented it, and then obviously I had the support of Chloe and like our small team who were like, this is a good idea. But I was like, still like, okay, I need to talk to some people because like I need my own reassurance before I started really going down this path and investing time and money and all of that. And so I just started with people that I trusted to share this idea with, and people who I thought would provide unbiased feedback. So not just friends and family who are going to be like, oh yeah, that's great, you should go do that. Like real people who are like removed enough to like tell you the real straight info that you need. And so and sometimes that could take like an introduction to someone else from a friend or something, but basically people who had nails, who understood the nail world and who would be professionals. So like in our target group, people who'd be typing a lot. And then I would send them one, then just let them use it for a little bit. And then I would have a conversation with them and ask them about the different, aspects of like, I had a whole like list of questions that I would systematically go through. It was a really valuable process that like, so that when we did launch, I felt more comfortable and confident in like, okay, we have something that it's a lot to take. I know this is like business 101, but to take someone's money for a product is a big deal. And I wouldn't want to send out anything that I didn't feel like we had some confidence in that is actually useful and like is going to solve this problem. But actually talking to some of the people in that focus group, one of them was like a fashion blogger in LA. And she was like, did y'all ever think of black? And at first I was like, oh, because we were just going to launch with white, like the basic one.
Yeah.
And then when we launched with black as well, because of her advice, it became our bestseller by far.
Yeah.
And then after that viral video, the outcry for pink was so loud
massive.
that we were like, that week we launched pink for pre-order, and like we told our supplier, like, make pink, just make pink, 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 pink.
Yeah.
And
For the girly pups.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes. And then also like there was so much like, what about PCs? Because we were just launching Mac.
Yeah.
Like, so we quickly went from like the minimum viable product of like a Mac in white to like add based on the feedback.
Yeah.
Starting with that focus group of people just being like, how about black? And then like, so it's just basically like listening to like the whispers from the community of like what they want and adding to our SKUs that way.
Yeah.
Also, like to that point too, we also realized how special it would be to make the black case. So our white and our milky white and our matte black come in our classic green with the black logo. But with our pink, we wanted to do something even more special and exclusive. And so each new color that we've come out with, we make an exclusive case for each one of them that you can only get with that one. And that not only made it, we could have, sold the cases separately, made a separate product for that. But, we don't want to put the cart before the horse, and we wanted to move strategically. So we made it an exclusive thing that only came with the pink.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love the creating of that exclusivity though for your customer, because that makes them want to come back. That
It's
makes them,
Yeah.
it's an experience. It makes it feel very special.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm not saying you can go get one of these somewhere else. Like, this is yours, right? But I think that, when in just any marketing tactic in product development, creating that exclusivity at the SKU level really creates like a really fun brand experience.
Yeah. Also, it was the best way to scale. There's no way we could have added like 5 more cases at that time and managed all that inventory at once. So
Yeah, for sure. I want to go back to influencer marketing because, obviously we talked about like the community, we talked about affiliate, and we talked about like what that looks like. But what I'm so interested from y'all is to hear your take about just like what is the future of like influencer marketing for like these kind of girly pop products, right? And one of an example that I keep thinking about is like the Phase It. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, they obviously had a viral moment with Taylor Swift. But what I keep thinking about is like, okay, you guys have had that viral moment. You've had that sellout. Like now, what is the next level of influencer marketing or virality for y'all?
Well, I'll talk about our most recent campaign for our new colors.
Yeah.
So in launching our new colors, which is the purple and the blue, which I showed earlier, I thought it would be a really good idea to, instead of like trying to reach out to, we're always looking to work with different influencers that are professionals and that do this all the time.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be fun to dip into our customer base and use our actual customers who have already come to us. They love the product. They left us a 5-star review. That's a guaranteed loyal fan, right? So we reached out to a few of those customers to help us launch our Violet Haze and our Aquamarine. And it turned out like so successfully, more than I could have imagined.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our customers, they're not influencers by day. They don't sit down and create content all the time, but each one of them hit it out of the park. And what was really great about it and why I was so proud to share those videos is because it was their organic creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, they'll say like, oh, I'm not really an influencer. And I'm like, you'd be surprised, like even within your sub 5,000 follower count, like how many people will actually pay attention to what you're talking about. So that was a really fun way to, kind of make a new influencer out of our customers. But where I see the future of influencer marketing is focusing on the nano influencers.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you.
The nano influencers just naturally bring more authenticity. Again, this is no like flack to our influencers who do this professionally, because they are also really great at showcasing products. They're professionals, but bringing that organic, authentic vibe
Yeah.
to showcasing the product,
Yeah.
I think is what can also sell it to your everyday consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's even, if it's a micro influencer or a macro influencer, I think that the market is shifting
Yeah.
in the sense that we don't want to just be sold to by the Taylor Swifts. We want to be sold to by a micro or macro influencer that you just feel naturally like I'm following this person. I like their content. Like this actually fits within them,
Yeah.
within the space,
Yeah, it makes sense for
Right.
them to be having that, because the people that the influencers that have been followed for years by their loyal fan bases want to see products that naturally are a fit in their lives. So, when we were looking to, okay, who do we want to work with? Our bigger influencers, it still needed to make sense that this was a tool that was going to be a part of their life.
Yeah.
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 So obviously we were going for people that were in the nail industry or that love nails. One of our favorite videos is from a creator. Her name is WTF Alesa,
Mhm.
and she actually reached out to us. She wanted to feature us in a Things Invented by Women series. And she's like,
Cool.
I need to tell the world about this. And so we got really lucky in that she just wanted to showcase the product for us. And that's another thing too, is like working with influencers that are organically excited about your product,
Mhm.
because it goes both ways. They bring the following, but we bring the new innovation that will bring more eyes to the video and be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
So that aggregated, I think, is like over 20 million across both platforms. Her video, it's just so
That's
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
Y'all have had
So thank you, Alesa. Yeah.
some really, really fun people to work with.
Yes, and we
Yeah.
can't wait to work with more. We're just really dipping our toes into working with influencers.
Yeah.
So.
I think what's interesting about y'all's product though is that so you had this idea, you've come on the market, you've invented it, you've done it, and then you joined forces with another baddie.
Yeah.
And now you're like, okay, so now it's like this, you've had this viral moment, you're going down this influencer track, right? But what I think is so interesting is that it's the right place at the right time a little bit, but it's also just a lot of like really hard work to even get there too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This was not just luck.
Yeah.
Like
No.
it's a lot of it's luck, it's timing, it's our aggregated skills, all being pushed to the max and then beyond at all times to make this work. So this was not
Yeah.
like, we just got lucky and went viral. Like, yes, I knew this was going to go viral, but we needed to be prepared to actually scale it into a viable business.
Totally. Exactly. So like that's actually like more of what I meant, like about right place, right time.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, you've gotten the work to get to where you needed to go,
Yeah.
right? But it's like it's calculated risks. It's not just things that you're just like, okay, cool, I'm gonna just shoot it and see what happens. Like every step of the way, you've made really smart choices about it. And I just appreciate
We hope
that.
so.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I mean, listen, brand building in general is really hard for anybody, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
like you don't know what you're doing. You literally don't know what you're doing, but you're just going and figuring it out, right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
like I said earlier, our comment section on social has been our greatest teacher. Our community have been our greatest teachers. But yeah, it's the one thing that reminds me. It's like when you experience this viral moment, you want to just immediately start creating like 20 more colors and like, oh, we need to be on every single PC, every single device that you can type on because everyone's asking for this. But you have to like fight against yourself to not grow too rapidly, because we still are trying to, make sure this is scalable and
Yeah.
not blowing our load like too quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that part is so important, right? Like I've I feel like everything that's coming out of my mouth on this episode is like, I've seen this happen and this doesn't work. But
We
I
all have.
I know,
Yeah.
but I've literally have seen so many brands that are just like, oh, okay, great. Keep adding, keep doing that ad,
Yeah.
keep doing this stuff. But then like the business structure is not set up
Yeah.
to be successful with the amount of traffic that you're bringing in, right? And granted, at the end of the day, for any brand building that you do, any product, no matter what it is, you definitely have to bring in more customers. You can't just bank on retention and loyalty of the same ones,
Yeah.
but you have to do it smart. It's like I've just have seen so many brands where they've put so much into paid or so much into the awareness pieces of it, then they get all the traffic, but then their site's broken or their customer experience is terrible
Exactly.
or the product isn't good, and then it's like, well, then what was that all worth?
Yeah, exactly. You have to know how to ride each little moment and maximize it as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I think you both have been very smart in this.
Thank you.
I want to go back to, I know we keep talking about the influencer thing, but it's not specific to influencer that I want to ask. I actually want to talk about the content styles that you think have really worked for y'all. Because what I think is really fun is, again, yes, we talk about authenticity and we talk about low lift types of UGC and content. But I think what's so fun is just how girly pop everything, how your content style is. Would you I would love to hear from y'all's eyes, what is the best content style that has worked for y'all?
Do you want to go first?
No, you think you should answer this.
Okay.
She's our content creator.
I'm
she's
wait,
amazing at it.
does she already know the answer? And
No,
then
no,
I'm
no.
not gonna.
No,
okay.
I'm like, oh god, I hope he answers this.
Well, there's the content that we make, and then there's the content that we pull out of people, right?
Yeah.
So with the content that we make, obviously you need to have the product front and center. I learned this from a great teacher of filmmaking. He said, start with what people know and then bring them into what they don't know. And so I've always kept that in mind with every piece of content that we make, because this is on our minds all day, every day, but we forget there's millions of people that have no idea what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to show the product front and center. You have to have great lighting. You have to show it being used, not just showing what it is. Yes, that can be clickbaity, but you don't want to stretch that out too much, or else people are too unfamiliar and then won't actually watch your content. But with Sara and I, we found out that from our first viral video that if we just don't think too hard about it and we just shoot fun ideas, likely people will also consider them fun. And so our first one was, I just walk up to, I'm on the phone, I stop, I look at her typing, she's at a cafe outside. I'm like, let me call you back. I walk over to her. I'm like, this is what I would do in real life, right?
Yeah.
So I walk over to her. I say, what is that? And she immediately shows me it's Tippy Type. This is why you use it. This is why you don't want to type with just your nails anymore. And I'm like, where do you get it? It was just the very basics. Sometimes you just keep it really basic. And then people, then as you evolve your content, you realize, okay, people love Easter eggs. Okay, so in our next video, let's have me look all disheveled again, and Sara looks all perfect and angelic. It's like the pre-Tippy Type and the post-Tippy Type experience, right?
Yeah.
So it's again, I'm kind of, what is that? And then she's like, it's Tippy Type. I'm like, oh my God, I can type with nails now. So, and we use these cute little microphones. People like to comment on the microphones. Why are they whispering? It's just all these little things that you pick up on each time, and then you try to include them in new ways so that you keep people engaged, keep them watching over and over again, and also make it enjoyable content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I find it enjoyable to watch. Before I reached out to y'all, I did go on in a hole of
Oh my gosh.
of Instagrams, and I just loved it. So there was that.
Oh, thank you.
What I'm curious is from y'all's opinion. Do you think, okay, so obviously we're talking about content, we're talking about it on social channels. Do you have any sort of opinion on live commerce? And what I mean by that,
I've done it.
oh, I would love to, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Well, did you have an angle on
Well,
how to steer the
specifically,
opinion?
well, because the thought that was coming to my mind when we were talking about the content and like content styling is just like how TikTok Shop is like really blowing up with that live commerce style.
Yes.
And then on the other side of it too is that it's really our generation's QVC.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I'm just curious, like, do you all have plans to do any sort of like live commerce, like thoughts, prayers, anything?
Some prayers. So I've done live commerce before through, I don't know if you've heard of it, Pop Shop Live.
Not that one.
So they're a platform where you can go and sell. You set up your shop. You can sell, do exclusive deals. You can have special sales and just showcase your product to their community. And so it's both like a live and also people are buying. And what I loved about that experience is that you identify your super fans. They will follow you kind of wherever you go. And actually, one of those customers has even followed me to Tippy Type now, which is really cool.
Shut up.
But yeah, you identify your super fans through that, and you get to showcase your personality more. So you're not just selling your product, you're selling your brand through yourselves. And so I think that with building a brand today, it has to be more than just about the product. Like one of my pet peeves is when I go on a website for a brand and I don't see an our story or an about us thing, because it's like I need to know who I'm supporting and who I'm giving my dollars to. But we would love to do more TikTok Shop and live selling and stuff. It's just we're literally so busy accomplishing our never-ending to-do list that it's hard.
I would love
for us.
to do it.
Yeah.
I would love to do it. It's just
We've
like
done
getting
it
to it.
little. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I see. Like maybe this summer we could.
I feel like y'all could crush on TikTok Shop.
We have ideas. Like for example, we want to we have these like portable laptop tables that are like there's like an ad from the 80s of some guy like work wherever you want. So I'm like, Sarah, we need to get these and we need
walk
to like
up and
literally
down Michigan Avenue with our Tippy Types on these portable laptop trays.
So that's gonna be our
I would
live
totally do that.
selling is like us like literally like on the streets using our Tippy Type, but also like we could just be going live anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love that. God, I love that idea.
We're gonna do it.
I'm like, please do that. Like,
We're
let
gonna
me
do
know
it.
if you need help. Okay, I will work for free. I'm there to support.
If you want to show up and be like, what is that?
I know, with my like
cool.
road bikes.
We'll let you know. We'll let
Yeah.
you know when we're there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I would love to honestly go back to like just the brand building and the entrepreneurship because it's so interesting. You both have like had these moments. You're like, it's just us like doing.
Are you okay?
I know. Like, are you okay, Sarah? Like, tell me honestly. Going from being a career coach, okay, and like having this whole other life to now having a product on the market, I would love to know what your day to day is. Like, tell me your day to day. Yeah,
day to day today is like.
Start with your quote from this morning.
What's my quote from this morning?
I'm already tired.
This morning,
Yeah.
I'm standing in the bathroom and I'm like, I think I got up at 6 to do like some spreadsheet finance work. And then I had an 8 a.m. call and then an 8:30 and a 9. And then I showered and I'm standing in the bathroom and I'm like, I've been working for 3.5 hours. And I was just like, I'm so tired. And my husband happened to be like taking a video of our dogs at the same time. So he captured that as just like a moment of just like, yeah, I'm always just so tired because there's so much, like it's just nonstop. And I know everyone must say that and there's nothing like super unique here. And but it's genuinely 24/7 when you are doing this amount. Like I'm very ambitious. We're very ambitious as a company. We like, I don't run this like with no disrespect, and I know that they can do a lot of business, but like it's not an Etsy shop. It's like a real company that I would like to scale and make as large as possible. And to do that, you have to take yourself seriously and have business fundamentals down, legal stuff down, finance down. And even though someone might look at us and be like, we're small, but I pretend and operate like we're large, because that is the preparedness that you need to have to really grasp hold of opportunities. Like, one of the questions I think you were thinking of asking us was like, where do we see each other or see ourselves in 5 years? And like, obviously I'm not in control of what happens in 5 years, but my goal would be to make this a very significant company. And we have vision for expanding our product line and offering. And we would love to be in mass retail. We would love to, you know, seriously grow this. And to do that, you have to put in a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And you have to be committed. And so I'm in a phase of my life where I don't really have weekends, like going shopping and like, you know, obviously I get my nails done, but like that's the only kind of like luxury. Like maybe I'll go to the gym if I can get time, but like those are the things that I do for myself. And the rest of the time is like, I'm focused. So it's a very different, like when I was career coaching, you know, I had more time and space in my life. And also like relationships are different now. I've had to say, guys, I am in a different phase, and I do not have time to hang out on Friday night. I actually like have to do work or I'm just so tired. I just can't.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different lifestyle, and
It's so different.
Yeah.
It's so different. You know, the one thing that I've learned in the last year of like just my journey too, of like agency, starting my own product, also an events business. I have multiple different businesses, but what's the biggest thing that I've learned is there's a different mentality between founder and operator. Like for so long, like I was an operator in other people's businesses, and you get your responsibilities and you get your paycheck, and yes, you're working towards like the dream to get your equity or whatever like your bag is, right?
Yeah.
But that operator mentality versus the founder mentality is just so different, because it's nights where you're up until 10 o'clock and trying to figure out a spreadsheet. Or, I mean, for me, like this week or this last week was taxes, making sure all of my things were checked off. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not that I even like advice. It's just that it takes a different breed of person to do this.
Yeah. We talk about Tippy Type like it's our living child.
Yeah.
We are constantly thinking about its needs from every single angle, and then even more that we're anticipating. We're constantly finding inspiration from it's just always top of mind.
Yes.
So yeah, it's literally like, I don't know what it's like to have a kid, but it feels
This is your
like
child.
This is what it's like. Yeah.
But I also think the other important thing is like if you're going to have a partnership, that partnership needs to like, you think the same in the sense of like, this is your baby.
Yeah.
You know?
We do have a lot of diversity in our thought and our skills, but we are same brain all the time. Even in fundamentally like how we were raised, the expectations that we had from our parents.
We need the same kind of therapy.
Yeah. We talk about the same kind of things in therapy. So like we work really well together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Driven in the same way, taking ownership, really,
Yes,
you
taking
know.
ownership.
Always feeling like we're never doing enough, and then surprising each other of like, oh, wow, you did way more than I expected you to. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because I thought I like got an F on that.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how you're just like, you never think that you're doing enough, but then other people are like, oh no, you've done a lot. And like for me, I'm like, you know, I'm just a founder of one, right? So it's like my partners are like people who operate under me, right? And like every day I feel like I don't do enough, and my partners, my husband is like, girl, can you just go to sleep for like an hour? Like I don't know how to do that.
Put the phone down.
Yeah. But it's like constant state of like emails or organizing or staying organized, because I think that's really important.
Oh yeah.
in just like entrepreneur life is like if you got a hot mess happening in your inbox, you ain't getting nowhere.
Oh no,
True.
I
Yeah.
just did a lot of maintenance on my inbox. Something I'm very proud about. Like
Yeah.
I have no uncategorized emails sitting in my inbox. Like I had, but that's what I was talking about like earlier with the viral moments. When that one video went viral, all of a sudden we had struck gold in the comments section. How are we going to remember all these comments? Okay, there's the comments mocking us that's really good for us to use for future marketing. There's comments like genius, game changer, whatever. It's like, okay, we need to create shared albums for each category of comment. All of a sudden, it's like you have to stay on top of it. And like I said, our to-do list is endless, but we joke our one-on-ones are on Friday, but we have like little one-on-ones every single day.
Yeah.
We have what's called a pipeline where we just are constantly putting all of our tasks and keeping them organized. Like I've never worked harder from an organizational standpoint than I have with this, but it makes me feel, I feel less anxious because everything is laid out and I know where to find this comment, this photo, this thing, if I ever need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Maybe not that organized when I think I do, but my Pinterest boards are real organized.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
That's where I draw my inspiration from.
Awesome.
I'm curious from like both of you guys, because since we're on this subject, but what's something about building a brand that people just don't talk about enough?
Well, yeah, go ahead. Or I
mean,
can say something.
I guess one thing that I was like, I do feel like in the infancy of a brand is scary and vulnerable, and it's delicate, and it takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there and say, this is something that I'm creating and it's small, and like I hope that you like it, and to also like listen to feedback. Like it's an emotional journey, and I don't feel like people talk about that much. There's a lot of maybe like hiding what that experience is really like until you have something like really big to announce. And like, you know, you hear a lot from brands that are like succeeding and like, you know, Phase It, Taylor Swift, amazing, like fabulous. And it's hard for a small, you know, brand in its infancy to like not compare and like wonder like, how am I going to get traction, and like, am I like, is this going to work, and like, where's our big break going to come from, and like, is someone going to believe in us enough? And like, it's an emotional roller coaster. Not that I'm like up and down like every day or anything like that, but you have to consistently just be like, okay, like brick by brick, and like stay steady with it. And I don't know if that's really talked about that much. Maybe it is, but I just haven't been exposed to those conversations.
it's not.
But yeah,
It's truly not.
I feel like on these podcasts, like I listen to a lot of business podcasts, right? And like I'm always listening to people who have, this person just raised so many million by VC, and like just huge milestones and accomplishments. And then obviously that gets like clicks and views and listens because they're big, you know, now they have gravitas, and you know, but the nobodies who are just birthing an idea, that like we need to have more conversation amongst those people in that stage, because it's not easy. And I think that I've only been able to handle it as well as I am because of my experience career coaching, where I had to work through a lot of fear of taking risks, fear of doing something new, fear of what other people might think of you if you screw up, if you fail. In my past company, I failed and I walked away from it, and I had to learn what that felt like. And so I'm actually like not like super afraid of that. That's not what motivates me. Like I genuinely love this company, believe in it, and want it to be successful. But like, yeah, it's a lot to be in this early stage.
Yeah.
And this is like our first time actually being on a podcast talking about our experience of running the company. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. And
I love
Thank
these
you, Jess.
conversations.
Okay,
Come
yeah.
back. We'll do another round.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do
a
an update.
Chicago
Yeah.
entrepreneur episode, you know, of like multiple. But I think you're absolutely right, though, right? Like we don't talk about it enough. Like if you go on like Twitter or LinkedIn, it's like right now everybody's talking about Poppy because Pepsi just bought them. Like that's the hot news this week, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. That is so amazing. Like so
Huge.
beautiful and like just so awesome, right?
Totally.
But we only talk about the biggest wins, right? And like a lot of time, and what's interesting about Poppy, and I think people do talk about this, about how it used to be called Mother, and like she was, you know, they talk about like the journey, about like they started this product when she was pregnant, and all these things. And I think that's really beautiful, and I think that's amazing, right? But we don't talk about that story enough. We don't talk about the sacrifices that you have to make, or you're always tired, or you know, and even the story about you having a failed business before. I've been there as well. Like there's a design studio that I had that didn't work out, and that was 3 businesses ago. You know, like I just think you're absolutely right. Like it's just like on social media where it's like you're seeing the highest highs, but you never see the lowest lows. You know?
Yeah, I think perhaps a reason why people don't talk about that so much is because of how traumatizing those moments can be. Because you are pouring everything into it, and so it's hard to revisit the feelings of those times. Or like for me, the way I relate to it with regards to building our brand is like when we post a video that doesn't hit right immediately. And I'm like, well, but you guys liked this previous one. It was kind of like this one. So why is this one not hitting? But my answer to your question is like trust. Trust in, if you're building a brand by yourself, trust in yourself. If you're building it with a partner, trust in your partner, and learning how to compromise, let go of ego, understand that like you aren't the customer. The customers are the customer. We're not building this brand for us. We're building it for them. And so sometimes what we might think is a good idea, we have to remember, well, wait, is this what's going to be great for everyone? And are there multiple options we can offer? So you really have to think outside yourself. You have to trust in what you're doing and just like stay the course.
Yeah. Trust. Absolutely.
A lot of trust.
Well, one more question before we hit the road. And this one, I'm curious. Well, we talked about it a little bit, but if you had to describe Tippy Type's brand personality in 3 words, what would they be?
Joy, for the joy of nails.
Yeah.
The everyday joy of nails. Individuality, or individualism. Because nails are a form of self-expression, just like the amazing pants you chose to wear today.
My whole outfit today is like, what is happening?
every choice that we make stylistically even extends to the very tip of us, which is our nails. And so being able to not hinder our self-expression even with this, and still being able to do everything that we need to do throughout the day. That's the individualism part of it. And then ambition, because we believe that our customers are people that want to work smarter, not harder. And so we want to celebrate people that strive for greatness and success. So
love.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
No, just thank you very much for this opportunity.
Well, we're gonna do this again.
Yeah, I feel like we just touched the tip of the iceberg.
I know, it always ends up that way. Well, I'd love for you to tell the audience though where they can find your product.
Yes, tippytype.co is our website, and you can also, I guess, find us on TikTok Shop. We are going to expand our TikTok presence in the coming months, but those are the 2 places you can purchase a Tippy Type.
Great. And I'm going to go ahead and put this all into the show notes. But Sara and Chloe, I really appreciate y'all. 2 bad bitches up in here with the Tippy Type.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Oh, and then lastly, where can they find you individually? LinkedIn?
Oh, yeah.
LinkedIn or on Instagram. I don't mind being a public, founder. I'm at Sara Young Wang.
Okay. And my handle is where to Chloe.
We'll put it in the show notes, and I appreciate everybody tuning in for another week of Above the Fold, and I'll catch you next week. Toodles.
Dang, we've made it to the end of the podcast and you're still here. So thank you so much for listening to Above the Fold podcast. For the best of this episode and every episode, be sure to follow us on Instagram and my YouTube channel. And for deeper dives on the secrets to brand success, don't forget to subscribe to my weekly newsletter, Sunday Postcards. All right, my dudes and gals, see you next week.